There's a moment in every investor's life when they come across a story so compelling, a narrative so transformative that it completely reshapes the way they think about money, wealth, and the future. Sometimes, that story begins with a single company, a single idea, or a single innovation. It often starts quietly, without fanfare, but those who pay close attention, those who truly listen, are the ones who stand to benefit the most. This is not financial advice. It is, rather, an exploration of possibilities. A deep dive into a mindset, a philosophy, and a strategy that has the potential to change lives. What we're about to uncover is not tied to any single stock or ticker symbol. It's about recognizing patterns, understanding markets, and preparing oneself mentally, emotionally, and strategically for the moment when opportunity meets preparation. Everyone wants to know the next big thing. Everyone wants to find that one stock, the one that could turn a modest investment into a fortune. It's an alluring dream to catch the wave before it crests, to ride the momentum as it builds, and to exit just at the peak, triumphant and secure. But the truth is, the journey toward that moment is far more important than the moment itself. Because millionaires aren't made overnight. They're built slowly, piece by piece, decision by decision, shaped by discipline, foresight, and, perhaps most importantly, conviction. Think about the countless individuals who passed up opportunities that would later become legendary. How many people laughed at the thought of investing in an online bookstore only to watch it become one of the most dominant technology companies on earth? How many scoffed at the idea of electric cars replacing gasoline, dismissing the entire concept as science fiction? And how many still underestimate the quiet power of innovation happening in places no one is looking? We live in a world where narratives dominate attention. Social media, headlines, breaking news all screaming for our focus. But the greatest opportunities rarely make noise. They sit in the shadows, gathering strength, growing steadily. By the time the masses take notice, the real gains have already been made. That's why it's crucial to understand the psychology of early investment, not just in terms of money, but in belief. You see, belief is the currency of wealth before wealth exists. The investors who become millionaires are often the ones who believed when others didn't. They endured ridicule, skepticism, and doubt. But they held on. Not because they were lucky, but because they did the work. They researched, they studied, they questioned the status quo. And when they saw something that made sense, something that resonated deep within their understanding of the world's trajectory, they acted. So let's take a moment to think about what it really means to discover a stock that could make millionaires. It doesn't mean finding something with hype. It doesn't mean jumping on a trend that's already saturated. It means identifying value where others see risk. It means seeing potential before it becomes obvious. And that requires clarity of thought, patience, and the willingness to look foolish for a while. Because that's the other side of this story. Conviction often looks like madness until it doesn't. Those who believed in the internet in the early 90s were mocked. Those who believed in streaming before cable began its decline were questioned. And today, as we stand at the edge of the next digital revolution, those who prepare themselves mentally for the next decade rather than the next quarter will be the ones best positioned to reap its rewards. But let's step back even further. Before any stock makes anyone a millionaire, something more fundamental must happen. The person must first believe they are capable of building wealth. Not just hoping or wishing, but truly believing. Because the market tests you. It tests your resolve, your confidence, your ability to hold steady when volatility strikes. And if your foundation is built on hype, it will crack under pressure. But if it's built on understanding, research, and purpose, it will endure. Let's talk about strategy. The investors who thrive over the long term don't chase their position. They allocate capital where the probability of future success is highest, and they weigh. That doesn't mean they wait idly. They refine their thesis. They track developments. They reevaluate their assumptions. But they don't panic. They don't get swept up in every wave of fear or greed. Because they know that the greatest fortunes are built not in the euphoria, but in the patience. Now imagine a company, not a specific one, but an archetype. It starts in a niche sector, solving a problem that few people even know exists. The founders are relentless. The product is unconventional. The growth is slow, then sudden. Most ignore it. A few notice it. Even fewer understand it. But those who do, they see the bigger picture. They understand that what looks like a small idea today could become the infrastructure of tomorrow. And they act not with reckless abandon, but with thoughtful conviction. Years pass. The company expands. The market shifts. And suddenly, everyone is talking about it. Analysts upgrade it. News headlines praise it. Retail investors chase it. But the real returns, the life-changing ones, went to those who saw it before the crowd did. That's the dynamic we're discussing here. It's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market. It's about putting your money behind ideas that matter, ideas that solve problems, that create value, that change the way people live. The stock that makes millionaires is rarely obvious at first. It's rarely comfortable to buy, but it rewards those who dare to trust their own analysis over the noise. Still, none of this guarantees success. And that's why we repeat, this is not financial advice. This is about mindset, perspective, preparation. Because the journey to wealth is more than just picking the right investment. It's about transforming your entire approach to risk, reward, and discipline. And discipline is key. Because even the best stock in the world cannot make you wealthy if you lack the discipline to hold it. Markets are emotional. They rise and fall, often for reasons unrelated to fundamentals. And in those moments, when fear spreads faster than facts, the weak hands sell. But the strong hands, the ones who understand the long game they hold, or even buy more. And over time, that discipline pays off. But here's the truth, even with the perfect stock, the journey won't be smooth. There will be corrections. There will be crashes. There will be times when everything looks lost. But those who become millionaires aren't the ones who avoid these moments. They're the ones who endure them, who prepare for them, who understand that every dip is not a disaster but a test. Because in the end, the market is a mirror. It reflects who we are. If we are impulsive, it punishes us. If we are thoughtful, it rewards us. If we chase noise, we get lost. But if we follow deep signal, then over time, we find clarity. And well, let's not romanticize this. Investing is hard. It's emotional. It's slow. It's uncertain. But it's also one of the greatest tools humanity has ever created for compounding value over time. And while not everyone will become a millionaire, everyone has the opportunity to think and act like one. And that begins with education. Study businesses. Study founders. Study markets. Look for patterns. Look for those sustainable competitive advantages that protect a company from disruption. Look for scalability. Look for alignment between the leadership and shareholders. And most importantly, look for authenticity. Because the companies that change the world are built by people who care deeply not just about profits, but about progress. If you want to find a stock that will make millionaires, don't look at the charts. Look at the problems the world needs solving. Look at the inefficiencies that cry out for change. Look at the habits of the next generation. Because the future doesn't announce itself with a bang. It whispers. And only those who are truly listening can hear it. So the next time you hear someone say, "This stock will make millionaires," remember, the stock is only part of the equation. The other part is you. Your mindset. Your patience. Your research. Your conviction. Your discipline. All of these matter far more than the ticker symbol. This is a long game. It's not about flipping stocks. It's about owning pieces of real businesses. Businesses that grow, adapt, evolve. Businesses that matter. And yes, somewhere out there a stock exists today that will indeed make millionaires. Maybe more than one. But by the time the headlines catch up, the greatest part of the journey will already be over. So ask yourself, are you watching? Are you learning? Are you ready? Because opportunity is coming. It always is. And those who prepare for it, who position themselves with wisdom, courage, and patience, those are the ones who will one day look back and say, that was the moment everything changed. Not because they followed a tip, but because they trusted themselves. And that is how millionaires are made.